Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ESL Go4 Americas Cup number 2. I'm the FourCourtJester, and with me today, testing out my new overlay, it's Mr. Shane Goocher, not Shane Goober, although my endearing nickname for you is catching on, Gooberface.
It is. Even in games, I'm in solo queue, and people are like, it's Shane Goober. I'm like, no, it's Goocher. It's Goocher. They're like, no, I'm pretty sure it's Goober.
It's Goober. Jester said so. It's good to see you again, sir. How's your week of Heroes been?
It was good. Got to cast HPL qualifiers last night. A lot of very cool games. A lot of exciting games. A lot of casting. The best of 5 went to all 5 games between the two Cloud9's sister teams. So that was fun to watch. So a lot of casting. And I like it. I love it. I love casting. I love casting heroes, and I'm getting to hang out with you and gonna have a good time today, man.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it up. And speaking of that, round 1 here, the round of 32, we're jumping in. Team Heroes Hype up against ESV Wildfire. If you guys don't know about the Go4Heroes, these guys are all putting it all on the line for $100 for the weekly, the seeding points into the monthly, which I believe is a $500 every month. So it's definitely an honor to be here and seeing these teams go at it. We're jumping into Cursed Hollow game number 1. And who do we got for the ban, sir? Start us off.
ESV Wildfire went ahead and banned Tassadar, and then Team Hype went ahead and banned the Falstad. So no Falstad, no Tassadar being taken out. And it's interesting because Falstad is being banned over Tychus, and I think a lot of people were not predicting that, Sean. A lot of people are saying Tychus is the best assassin. Tychus is the best assassin. You need to ban him. But obviously ESV Wildfire put a little bit more priority on the bird man, Falstad. And with that being said, ESV Wildfire, what did they pick up there?
Tychus.
They did pick up Tychus. There you go. It said, okay, you ain't gonna give us Falstad? We're gonna take Tychus then.
Yeah, it's pretty much as it. Like, those two heroes are really interchangeable right now. It's all about the assassins since the Jaina patch. It's all been about the assassins. We've seen double, we've seen triple, like 2.5 with a specialist. It really is coming back down to 1 tank, 1 support. And with the changes to Falstad, with the rewind, with his stealth buff, with the turning speed as well, these actually really shot up, right back up there with the Tychus. So on this map, especially Cursed Hollow, it's so big. The mobility, the bribe, as well as the long linear amount of damage that a Falstad can bring in those narrow corridors. It's a really smart ban if you don't have first pick, and they didn't. So Team Heroes Hype, they are going to actually go second, and they're actually going to pick up Stitches and Vala for their turn. So again, it's a lot of these assassins. We already have the Falstad ban into the Tychus pick, and now Vala, and that's going to leave us with probably a few melees, because we've been seeing again a rise of melee DPS coming in since the patch as well.
Yeah, last night in the Heroes Premier League qualifiers, we saw several Zeratul bans from several different teams. A lot of teams putting a lot of priority on the Zeratul. I mean, Stitches as well. He's a warrior though, but he does an absurd amount of damage. One thing I think is really interesting is the change, and also the warrior, how the focus on assassins and drafting has also changed how teams draft their warriors. And the last patch changed a lot of the warriors, and you kind of have what's going on right now is you have these 3 really good warriors. You have Arthas, who's kind of in a tier of his own, and then you have Chen and Stitches, and then below that is like everyone else.
Yep.
So you have these like 3 warriors that have a lot of priority, and it's interesting to see that, because if it seems like teams, if they're not able to get their hands on one of those 3 warriors, they have to get themselves what may be considered a not as powerful warrior, and like in a Nubrak who received a lot of nerfs, Tyrael, things like that, and that's also changing the way teams draft as well.
Tyrael, as you mentioned him, he's really fallen kind of from that top tier, that godlike laning, the judgment, getting in there with everything, being able to trade so effectively. He's really fallen because we barely see him. I saw him yesterday in a 2-hour game because the Abathur, believe it or not, was being run with the Illidan, Kerrigan, Tassadar, Rhaegar combo, and SMG. They said, no, we're too smart for that. We're going to take that Abathur. Yep. So what did they substitute the Abathur with? They actually substituted it with a Tyrael who went more of a shield build, because that comp is all about protecting the Illidan. Still not entirely too sure what this comp is going to be protecting, but we do have our next round of picks, and it's going to be Arthas coming out here for ESV Wildfire, and Zeratul. A lot of places you can put some very good Void Prisons to just stop out the enemy team in this match.
Yep. So ESV Wildfire picking up their Zeratul, but also denying the pickup of Zeratul from Team Hype, as Stitches Zeratul. Obviously, we used to see it a lot about 2 or 3 months ago, the Stitches Zeratul combination, and then it's starting to make a comeback with the most recent patch. So they obviously want none of that, where the Stitches gorges someone, Zeratul throws a Void Prison, all of a sudden you have 3-4 members of your team displaced, you're standing out and all by yourself, and then you get picked off. And that's kind of still holds true with that combination. And plus, as we mentioned, with the focus on melee assassins, Zeratul is definitely a strong one being picked up. And then the Uther Illidan pick coming up from Team Hype here. I like that. Just they got to be careful about picking Illidan into a triple assassin lineup. Though Illidan actually deals with Zeratul pretty well, at least from what I've seen. I've seen Illidan actually can deal with Zeratul pretty well using his evasion, timing it well. If he builds a certain way, he can negate a lot of those spikes that he throws at you and things like that. And obviously Uther has some of the best single target healing in the game. Though Illidan will not have that damage mitigation that he needs a lot of the time in the Tassadar since he was banned.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, so interesting to see, again, a bit more of a rise of the melees coming in. We're seeing more and more Illidan. Thank you, My Insanity. Thank you, BlizzCon, for showing us the way, so to speak. The last pickups here for ESV Wildfire. The support is going to go away of Brightwing, nice and mobile, can go into the lane, get that bribe. Very useful overall. Doesn't do as much uploaded front healing as the Uther, but over time, you can really rack up a lot with that passive, always ticking away. And this is a guy that we've been seeing quite a bit here in the high meta. Over on the NS side, a Nazeebo is going to be coming to the front. So that's a very dangerous pick because we already have Stitches with the hook, Slammerino later on at level 16, the stuns from Uther, and then we could even possibly see a Hunt or a Rain of Vengeance. Like, there's a lot that you can deal with this Nazeebo, but it really comes down to the teams to not only protect him, but the enemies to really try to make his life hard, because if you're not going to shut down that Ravenous, you are in for a bad day, Mr. Shane.
Oh, yes. And looking at the tools both teams have, obviously one team, if they're able to stop that Ravenous Spirit, that's going to be a big focus in these team fights. And obviously Wildfire's going to be focusing on making sure the Ravenous Spirit doesn't get interrupted. And one thing we saw, I don't know if it was with you or not, Sean, that the Nazeebo actually, if a smart Nazeebo, whenever he's against a Stitches, is going to throw a zombie wall up around himself before he casts Ravenous Spirit. And that actually makes it so a hook will hit the zombie wall instead of him. So that's one defense they have. Obviously, Brightwing, there's a potential for him going Emerald Wind, which is a great defense, kind of counter initiation mechanism that we've seen for a matter of months now. They obviously have to defend with that. They have a Zeratul Void Prison if they get too hard in there. And obviously, the control from Arthas being picked up in Howling Blast and Frozen Tempest. But take it away. This is your hero. This is all you, Sean.
This is a hero that I absolutely adore. I've almost done my Heroes Fire guide for it, and I have the Master Skin. You can attest to this. Yes, we have a Sergeant Hammer coming to the forefront here, and oh my God, I am tickled pink. Team Heroes hype is really bringing a lot of hype to this match. So again, like a lot of comps these days, 2.5 assassin, and the half, of course, going the way of the specialist, because, I mean, other than maybe Murky, although assassin Murky is something you can do. Assassins and specialists are very interchangeable these days, at least over here on the NS side of things. So very exciting to see a Sergeant Hammer coming out of this. Now, what can you do to pressure that hammer? Other than a Tychus and Arthas roam, I mean, she's not really going to have too much to deal with. I mean, a lot of the time you can see the stealth coming out. If you do go for the bumpy mine, Zeratul's going to have a heck of a time trying to get near him. You can also use the hyper cooler thrusters to get into the Nazeebo and concuss blast away. That will stun out his Ravenous as well. So very interesting to see, that second range damage coming out. But, guys, we are ready to go. We're going to jump in if you want to give them that signal, Mr. Shane. What do you think overall here on the draft? This is a best of one. You got to put your best foot forward here. What's your predictions going forward?
I mean, they have the Stitches, Illidan up in the front line. The Uther helping out Illidan, obviously giving him, if he goes Cleanse at level 7. The key with anytime you have an Illidan is in team fights, assuming he goes Metamorphosis, which we'll see, is to obviously get off your Metamorphosis and have enough time and survive long enough to where you can get off about 2 evasions. If you can have enough time to get an evasion off, mitigate that damage through it, obviously use your auto attacks to decrease the cooldown on your evasion and all your other abilities, and get a second one off, that's generally a really good recipe that the team fight is going your way when you're playing in Illidan. And that's the really important thing I'm going to be looking for in these team fights as far as the team with Illidan, who is Wildfire, correct? No, is Team Hypithix on the Illidan. That's one thing I'm going to be looking for. That's going to be really, really important. I think is going to be a big factor in these team fights. And also the ability for not only Wildfire to protect their Witch Doctor, but Team Hype to protect, or to stop the Witch Doctor from getting his Ravenous spirit off. I think that's going to be the big key in these team fights going into this match.
All right, so yeah, guys, we are into this match. On the left-hand side, it is a team that I have yet to actually cast, but a few names. Pythix there, ex-Liquid, coming out. Hawkfu, Suki from Clairvoyance. Taza we've seen around a place, and Miwa, you know, an up-and-coming warrior here. Oh, they all make Team Heroes hype in the blue trunks, and their opponents on the red. Definitely a team to contend. ESV Wildfire there with Poom, Pickles, Bims, Warg, Greymon, and Iacona. And look at this level 1. They're going straight mid, and they're going immediately for that tower. If they do get that tower, that's going to be a heck of an infusion, but if they don't, they're going to be really late to the lanes.
Yeah, Pythix going in there, rotating down to mid. Bibbs is very low. He's going to fall back to the safety of his buildings. There's a Howling Blast on Asuki. Looks like not much follow-up. Just a little bit of a... They're just both the teams testing the water, saying hi to each other. Look what we got. This is what we got. And they're both going to fall back to the respective lanes. And looks like just starting to have some standard play from here on out. But yeah, as you mentioned, those towers, now that the experience has been shifted to them, they are so important to get. If you can get those early game towers, I mean, they're 400 experience each. And when you're the small amount of experience you need in the early game to get levels, it's a very big deal if you can get down a couple early game towers.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we have now distributed the lanes. We did actually draw all of Heroes hype there to the mid. So in terms of experience, we are going to be pretty much dead even. There's not really going to be too much miss here. But they didn't get the tower, but they did bring it low, and that could make it into a very interesting YOLO situation a little bit later. Party lane down south, however, 3 on attending. Both sides, hit points are now being traded across the board. Oh, the Howling Blast. But again, the concussive comes out, and that is going to stop Pickles and Poom in their tracks. And instead, it will be Tychus that drops to the Taza. The range damage coming down there. Miwa's actually left mid. He's not going to come down into the bottom because they wanted those kills. It's going to be Bims in the mid with the Witch Doctor. And top, it's going to be Pythix and Iacona. I'm not entirely too sure we're going to see a kill top anytime soon. Both of those guys are very sustainable.
Yes. I feel like bottom lane here, Team Heroes hype have a big advantage with a 3-3 situation. The Uther and Sergeant Hammer are a great synergy. Sergeant Hammer already taking down the first tower of the game, and we're already seeing the experience discrepancies just from that one tower. They have about a quarter level lead already. Oh, there's a Howling Blast onto Taza. Quick reaction, be able to vault away, else that would have landed on potentially getting him down underneath the damage from the towers, but he was able to vault away from it to safety.
So many mines in that bottom lane there as well. You saw the Arthas, he tried to get in on top of Hawkfu. The position of Suki is he's in front of Hawkfu. He's taking skill shots, he's protecting, and this siege tank is meant to just do work, strip out these towers, get that experience lead. You can already see it. And now bottom lane, it's going to be the first tribute in the mid as the new algorithm does define, but into the bottom lane is actually advantageous here for Hawkfu because the positioning's already there, the support's already ready to go, and now, oh, the hook, Shane.
Oh, Bims is going to be taken down. There is another kill going the way of Team Heroes hype. Team Heroes hype definitely establishing a very good early game lead here. It's not hasn't really translated into a whole entire level yet, but it's getting pretty damn close, and it also is going to get them the first curse of the game, putting them into a very good situation if they're able to get themselves that level 10 with a large amount of experience. Then obviously they can pretty much force a curse, get more towers, get more forts, and establish them a very strong mid game going into that phase. But looks like this bottom tower is going to be keep getting pushed in, going to be going down, and the experience advantage just keep going the way of Wildfire. I'm sorry, I keep wanting to say Wildfire. I'm so used to saying that. Keep going the way of Team Heroes hype, and they are really impressing me so far with their play, Sean.
Yeah, so this early game advantages are starting to really come up. 2 levels, well, okay, 1 level difference between the 2 teams. The gate is now down, and we haven't really had a return scenario from ESV Wildfire because they have done that YOLO on top of the mid gate, and that was it. So far, that's the only push they've generated. During that last fight, though, we did have Pythix come all the way down from top lane into the bottom, so Iacona was able to soak a little bit. That's why there's not nearly as big of an experience difference as you might be expecting coming into this. But level 7 talents, I looked at Hawkfu, actually went Vampiric Assault, not the extra range, and that just tells me that he's going to be looking to do a lot of split pushing, a lot of trading, but the Vamp also means that Suki doesn't have to deal so much with healing Hawkfu. Hawkfu is going to be able to use the range from the siege mode as well as the auto attacks, just try to sustain in that lane. So interesting choice. We'll see how that actually works out from it is going to be, however, that tribute bottom. Pickles going in. Hawkfu is just not going to drop. The first aid comes out really strong right there with the Vampiric, with the Suki. You're not going to kill the siege tank. Arthas down, tribute up, and you can see again, Illidan's going to come down from top of it as Iacona's not.
Yeah, I feel like Wildfire is not respecting the hammer, Sean. They are not giving the hammer the respect it needs, and right now it's showing 3-0 kills right here at the second tribute. Wergerman laying down a defensive retreat overkill, but no, that's not a retreat. Pithix going in there. He's going to get polymorphed up, using the first aid to top himself off. And look how Heroes Hype are just bossing them around, going, come at us, we dare you. Wildfire does not want to commit to a fight right now, even though the levels are pretty similar. They're definitely in a poor position, though, as they're kind of pigeonholed into that little narrow space in the watchtower. In goes Haku, laying down the damage. Boom getting protective shield. He needs to blink out of there quick. Suki gets taken out, though, but he's a ghost. He can still heal. He can still stun, and that is going to enable Pickles to get taken out. A 2-for-1 exchange so far, possibly seen to be a 3. Vala is solo. She's going to be able to get away. Taz on the Vala is going to be able to get away. Wargreymon is going to chase down Amiva. Don't know if they're going to be able to get any follow-up kills, but that will be... I have no idea. I thought she got away.
Oh, she died to a creep minion. Or a lane minion.
No.
She died in lane.
Oh, no. Oh, that's disappointing. But Wildfire were able to secure themselves and getting themselves back up to even experience, as well as getting even attributes 1-to-1 for both teams. It looks like both these teams are going to be hitting their heroics around the same time here. Oh, good hook on a Wergermon. He's going to be able to run and gun away, though.
Yeah, he also has himself that first aid ready to go. So Tribute is going to be in the pocket there of Heroes. Sorry, ESV Wildfire puts us 1-1. There goes finally that mid tower, and now that people have ramped up a bit. Take a quick look at heroics. It is going to be the hunt from Illidan. It's not going to be Metamorphosis, and it's a Napalm Strike. Okay. Putrid Bile on top of that, as well as the rest of the gate here does go down. This could be a problem spot here for Pithix.
Yes, he can. Boom's free in the chase. Here comes the Brightwing phase in, followed up with a polymorph right as he pops evasion. That was a well-timed polymorph as he pops evasion, kind of negates it. Down goes Illidan. So 1-to-1 tributes, and look at that. That tribute spawning right next to Wildfire. They're going to go ahead and push this top gate, get this top tower, get themselves a little bit more experience, and then fall back into a good position to try to pick up the third tribute of the match. I really like the... I don't want to say I like it, but I definitely can see the potential of the hunt being good this game. And you mentioned it in the draft, Sean, how it's actually a really good tool at dealing with that Witch Doctor. And that's one of the things I mentioned. How are they going to deal with that Witch Doctor Ravenous Spirit? And it looks like that's going to be one of their answers there, is with the hunt. Great Void Prison mid lane. Catching out too. Pickles popping the Army of the Dead. There's the Ravenous Spirit we're looking for. Miwa getting very low. A good Divine Storm. Immediately over the Ravenous Spirit. There comes the hunt from Pithix. Also following up on that Witch Doctor. Nibs is getting pretty low, but he is retreating back. No one going down here so far. A lot of elements being blown. A pretty good hook on the Pickles, but bringing down Pickles to this stage of the game is very, very hard. He's going to be able to get away. And here comes the Odin, ladies and gentlemen, just laying down the law, laying down the damage. Down goes Stitches. Haku very low. I don't know if he has his Z up. He needs to be careful because Wergermon could potentially kill him. Oh, man. That was so close to hitting him. He's going to be able to get away, though. So a good exchange for Wildfire there. Really just a 1-0 exchange, getting themselves that. And that might put them in a good position here to potentially get the first curse of the game. And also looks like they're pushing into this middle fort as well.
Well, I mean, we have traded out a lot of the gates here. You can see there's no gates here in the mid. Top was also traded out for the bottom. That early game pushing come out from Hawkfoon crew did get them a good amount of experience, but it is dead even after all those trades. So 5 kills to 5. Gates are dead even. No forts quite yet. 2 tributes to 1. This is definitely a very close game, as both teams are going to be looking for their level 13 for those talents. And again, you know, we had the hunt in that last fight. It was immediate there. Pithix took the hunt, stopped out the Ravenous from afar, and unfortunately just wasn't able to do it quite quick enough. The Ravenous did do a good amount of damage after all that. Still, I'm a little afraid. I mean, Hawkfu has that master skin for the Sergeant Hammer, but the presence is starting to actually look very much diminished as this next fight.
Yes. Oh, there's a good hook right onto Bims. That's the guy you want to be hooking there. Great Divine Storm. Hitting about 3 people there. There's the Emerald Wind, but it looks like it might be a little too late as Bims is already out of the fight. Uther very, very low. He's going to be backing up. There goes the hunt into Wargreymon in the background. Oh, no, the Polymorph. And then the follow-up damage from Wargreymon on the Tychus is going to take him out. Can the Mind do it? It can. Another good hook onto Miwa. Miwa has been landing them hooks left and right. And that was a great exchange for Heroes Hype there. And that is going to get them their second tribute of this. So both teams with 2 tributes. Looks like both teams are about to hit level 13. Obviously, with Hero Hype taking that fight rather handily is going to give them about a half a level advantage. But both teams have their level 13 talents.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what Pithix is actually going to go with it. Uther as well, but while both teams are actually going to go for some Merc pressure, you know, bottom lane's going to be that boss, top lane going to be that boss as well, and we do got a little bit of time here for the 13. It's pretty much the standard multi-shot build here from Vala. Really good for the AoE, these tight corners, these tight spaces for the team fights. You can really get a lot of multi-shot damage by the end of it all. Shrink Ray on Uther.
Yeah.
I guess for Tychus, yeah, Mini Odin's going to come out. And you see the Relentless there as well. Tychus and Arthas both going for that. So the shrink rate will be a little bit diminished in terms of that regard. 6th Sense coming out there from the Pithix as on the Odin with the Shadow Shield, a very standard, if you call Hunt standard, I guess, Trixler, thank you. And Bumpy Mines, yeah, the Bullhead Mines is going to be coming out with the Slam build here from Stitches. So nothing really out of the ordinary except maybe that Vamp that we saw earlier on Hawk 2, but this is
nice hook onto Icona. He's going to get taken out by the time he does absolutely anything. Now Wildfire's without their support. There's the Hunt onto Bims, interrupting the Ravenous Spirit, popping the evasion, trying to keep himself up. The Strafe hitting a lot of people, doing a lot of damage. Everyone in Wildfire is so very low. Pickles is low. Down goes Poom on the Zeratul. Pickles is going to be going down a 3-for-1 exchange right now. But the big thing to talk about here, this is going to be the first curse of the game going the way of Heroes Hype. Let's see what they can get done with it.
Level 15, 14, a good trade-off from them. 3-for-1 at that exchange. And now I'm really seeing, Hawkfu in that positioning. It's always the Hunt on top of the Ravenous. You got the Uther going straight in. Miwa, not afraid to get killed. He puts down the Bile. He gets off those hooks. They've actually started off both fights last time with the hooks. And it's been absolutely working out great here for Heroes Hype. Now with the curse under the belt, that's going to be the towers, some forts that should put them to 16, which means they are going to maintain that level advantage here at the 10-minute mark. But it's not quite over, I feel, yet for ESV Wildfire. Like, after we hit 16 from these guys, there's going to be a huge power spike for their team. And, it's going to be up to Heroes Hype to, again, just keep taking these favorable engagements. And a lot of the favorable has been literally because of Miwa.
Yes. That's landing them hooks left and right. Just they've been dead on. Bims is getting kind of caught out of position here. There's a Void Prison. Hit 3 people on there. Is there any follow-up, though? I don't know. I think Bims is dead. See you, Bims. Yep, down he goes. At least losing one is better than losing the several people they would have lost if it wasn't for that defensive Void Prison landing down there from Poom. But yeah, to follow up on what you were saying, Sean, level 16 is a really big deal for Wildfire, almost simply because of the 2 big talents at level 16 that they get is the damage amplification for the polymorph on Iacona's Brightwing, as well as the double spike that Zeratul gets at level 16. Level 13 and level 16 are very, very important talents for Zeratul. It's really when he comes online and he start able to turn into that, Zeratul that we love to see, like a Glarong and an iDream Zeratul. They go in there, blink in, throw down his spikes, do damage, blink in, and it's really hard to deal with. But also what's hard to deal with is a great hook. Wargamon almost went down, barely got off that Odin, so he needs to turn around and start doing some damage quick, and that's the damage we're looking up. Looks like Heroes Hype is just lining it up. There's the Ravenous Spirit looking for a follow-up Hunt. The Hunt is not there. That is great positioning for Bims. He is way back there, and Hero Hype is on full retreat right now. They've already lost one. Wildfire trying to get some secondary kills here. Pickles looking for a Howling Blast, and there it is. Oh, a great cleanse by Suki, but here comes Iacona with a Polymorph and an Arcane Flare. Wargreymon so low. He's got to get out of there. Boom is really low, too. There's the Hunt off the Wargreymon. Pithix is low himself, though. Pithix going, you only live once. Let's get in there and kill some people. And there they do. 2 go down, Boom going down. And now Pickles goes down on the Arthas. So that was a great turnaround from Heroes Hype. It looks like Wildfire, their eyes got bigger than their stomach. Or I'm sorry, you know what I meant. You know what I meant. Got that all messed up.
Eyes are bigger.
They got a little too greedy, pushed a little bit too hard, and got punished.
No, it's totally right. Eyes bigger than your stomach.
I did. Oh, I thought I messed it up. Okay.
No, you're good, Mr. Goober Fan.
Okay.
Good. That was a really great kite though from Heroes Hype. They had to wait for the cooldown, but they also, more importantly, were able to avoid all the Ravenous damage there from Bims. And then Bims was way far in the back. There was a good cleanse there from Uther as well that did defeat the engage from Arthas, as you did point out. The only one actually going down from Heroes Hype is actually going to be Miwa. But again, he got off the regenerative bile, or the putrid bile, sorry. And then he was able to just soak up quite a bit of damage. We had all the cooldowns ready to go by the end of the kite. You saw the bumpy mines at the end with the bullhead. Actually just really locking up the Arthas, and that was basically the turnaround. I mean, we had the cooldowns, we had the hit points, and we had the positioning, and Heroes Hype took it really, really well. We do got 16 on both sides, as you said. That power for the Critterize with the rewind, that's a heck of a long time to polymorph someone that's taking 25% more damage. But, Arthas with the Stone Skin, Tychus with the Stone Skin, Nazeebo going to Specialized Toxin. I like this build with this Toxin because it ensures more damage on your opponents. And he also took Gidbin. I've been seeing more and more Nazeebos actually taking Merklord and then almost never using it. So seeing a Gidbin warms up.
Oh man, another great hook from Miwa, and the Emerald Wing gets taken off by Brightwing, immediately taken out of the fight. Future Bio immediately laid down here. There's a Divine Storm, but really not much follow-up there. There's a Hunt onto Poom. I bet Timothy's pretty happy right now. That Hunt just took Poom out of the game right now. A 2-for-2 exchange. Miwa goes down to a 3-for-2 exchange. Bims is really low. He's in the back line though. Pithix needs to be careful. He needs to get out of there before they just turn around and do the Howling Blasts on him. Wargreymon's in full retreat. His first aid's on cooldown. Both of them are so very low. Pickles in full retreat. So it looks like a 3-for-2 exchange. Obviously, Wildfire getting the better end of that deal.
Yeah, it was actually Wildfire that did take the better end of that deal. A little surprising, but we did kind of cluster up down here at this little choke point. Oh, this is not going to be good for Hawk2. Getting hooked into the zombie wall. Yeah, good night, sweet prince. That's going to be Sergeant Hammer dead and dusted. So 4 for 2 in the overall out of that. And Ice Gun, you know, I was looking, Bims clearly had that Ravenous going off. It's like, where is he? Where is he? He was hiding under the Odin. And the Odin with a bigger model meant that you couldn't actually hunt that.
Yeah, that's just phenomenal positioning from Wildfire just to give basically Pythix a really hard time for him to get off that hunt, because he has to be really careful about it. He doesn't want to hunt into an Odin. That's the last thing he wants to do, because all of a sudden you're on top of an Odin and he's just picking away at you, taking you down. And this is a good opportunity for Wildfire to get themselves back into this match. They still are down about a level, but they've taken some pretty good fights here so far. They're looking pretty good as we transition here into the late game. They got to be careful here as Heroes Hype is here. A Great Divine Storm under 3. Iacona goes down before anything happens. Wargerman does not have Odin to fall back on. He's going to be taken down. They got the Golem here, but I don't know at what cost. They have 3 down. They were able to get the curse, though, so that's pretty good. But they lost 3 for the Golem. Now Suki looks like he's going to be going down. No, he's not. So yeah, 3 for nil exchange. They got the Golem, they got the curse, but that's a pretty big deal in the late game, especially just because of the respawn timers. A lot can get done when you have 3 people down at this stage of the game.
Well, so the big thing is that I was trying to just kind of a word in edgewise there, is that this is going to be a curse, and because there's nobody up from Heroes Hype, there's no positioning, and it was top lane. They immediately went bottom, paid for it with 3 deaths. I'm not even too sure they're actually going to get this fort because of that.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was really excellent timing for that curse to go top, especially after that last fight. So, you know, again, I was going to say ESV Wildfire, they have a really good opportunity here to get back into this. We do got the curse going down, but that bottom fort is almost for sure going to be dropping. And you can see ESV Wildfire, they're actually going to go up to this next boss, but yeah, they're a little too smart for that because nobody's on the map. You can see them clearly transitioning from bottom through the mid, and they just don't have the heroes. Now they do. Now they got Arthas up, but they're down 2 levels. And it's level 20 hype for Heroes Hype.
Yep, and that was given to him by those 3 kills that they were able to get down there at the Golem. This is one of the biggest windows of opportunity. We're starting to transition into that late game, which is the dynamic of the game. It changes so much. Once both teams level up 20, you start hitting like the 20, 30-minute plus stages of the game. Another great hook from Miwa. Miwa, are you map packing, bro? Good lord. So good on those hooks. Pickles trying to keep himself up with the army. No, actually a good turnaround kill onto Pythix. Pythix can take out there as he does not have Metamorphosis. He isn't as tanky as the normal standard build we see with Metamorphosis. So he does get taken out with a good Ravenous Spirit. Odin being popped as well. So they were able to get the good exchange after getting initiated on from the hook. So very well played by Wildfire there.
Just did not have the burst to take down Pickles. And if you want a hook, you know, get it on Iacona, get it on Bim, get it on, well, maybe not Poom because he has that flank, but you can't get it on an Arthas this late into the game unless you have 4 assassins really on your team to insta-give him. And that was a little bit of a mistake there from Heroes Hype because they lost out the Illidan. Did you see how quickly the Illidan melted? Evasion be damned. He just absolutely evaporated. And that was really the sounding of the retreat there from Heroes Hype. So we don't have any bosses left on the board, but we do got the top one. He's going to be pushing in. We had the mine set up here for the Knights because, again, we had, again, the hook.
On to Pickles. He doesn't have army goals this time. A big Divine Hurricane from Suki, taking 3 people in that storm. Obviously, they live in Florida, else they would have had their houses boarded up. Looks like they're going to get away, though, so they were able to get Pickles taken down here right before you hit level 20, so he's going to be down for 45 seconds. No resurgence to fall back on, but next time he comes up, more than likely they're going to have level 20, and they're going to have that linchpin resurgence, Vault of the Storm, etc., etc.
You can see the boss just doing some work on this top keep, but again, not entirely too sure it will yield any kind of big experience. We are looking for that level 20 here from ESV Wildfire, and I think that this lone ogre down here might be the key to getting that tower, and that tower should be enough. Dun, dun, dun. It's not. It's a hair's breadth here, Mr. Shanguchi. But we should have 20 for this tribute, and the tribute's coming up 1-0 right now, so it's not going to be a cursed tribute. And I'm not entirely too sure ESV Wildfire, they're going to go for a snipe on the top keep while we have Team Zero Hype going for the tribute.
This is a good game sense from Wildfire, knowing that tribute really doesn't mean that much. As the later into the game we get, the more buildings being taken out, the tribute, the curse itself starts to lose a little bit of efficacy, and you can tell Team Heroes Hype is quick on their heels to react, but I don't know if it's going to be quick enough here, Sean. They go in there, sweep in top lane, they sweep up clean up that top keep, retreat, though Heroes Hype is looking for a pursuit here. Suki does have the Divine Hurricane. It's a big, big range. Oh, man, a great hook onto Poom. Mio is just landing those things. I don't think I've seen him miss a hook this whole entire game. Pickles are getting caught. Needs to be careful. Pithix is doing some damage to him, but he's not going to do any. He's not going to scare Pickles away. Pickles needs to be careful there. There's a Divine Hurricane into all 5. He's going to get immediately broken up, though. Blown up, rather. There goes Poom's. A good Divine Storm on, I'm sorry, a Void Sphere onto 2. There's a Ravenous Spirit. Poom is down, but he already has that Void Sphere down. The damage has been done. There's the hunt onto Bims, but again, a little bit late. Did a lot of damage. That level 20 Ravenous Spirit does so much damage. Vala going to be taken out. Miwa on that Stitch is very, very low. Can he get away? Nope, he's going to get taken out, but he does have Resurgence. He'll be back up in just a moment. So that was a 3-for-1 exchange. I say maybe 3 for 2.5 since there was a Resurgence. Going the way of Wildfire. There is the Tribute. But again, as I was mentioning, the Tribute, the Curse really loses a lot of its power as the more buildings you push down.
Yeah, because there's less for the Curse to actually do for you. So we do got these Knights pushing into the mid, and that's kind of been a force to reckon here. I didn't actually look at the 20 yet, but going through it, you know, both of our Warriors do have the Resurgences, a lot of Blinks on the table as well. The Nazebo Blink, you know, this was actually brought up yesterday in some of the casting. You can actually projectile pop things like Judgment and things like the Hunt with that Blink. So very interesting to see if Bims can actually use that to great effect, because he's basically going to have to cast it as he's using Ravenous. There's really no other bigger advantages you can get unless it's going to be blinking away from that Hunt so that it just doesn't stick to you like paper and glue. But something else, again, Hawk Fu, Advanced Lava Strike. And you might say, why didn't he take Resurgence? Because Tributes on this map is the objective. The range on that Advanced Lava Strike is absolutely massive, and you can really stall. You can poke at heroes from afar. You can poke at lanes that you're not even in. You can poke down buildings without any repercussions with that Advanced Lava Strike. And you know, there's so many great advantages to it now that we have had Resurgence kind of nerfed out. It looks like we're just going to go for that. But top Tribute coming in. This is going to be a curse for Heroes Hype, and ESV Wildfire is not responding.
They're not. Looks like they want to get this Golem instead, and maybe push bottom keep with the Curse. That might be one of the things they're thinking. But look at that. Heroes Hype is already like, okay, we know we're going to get this Curse. They were already moving to the top lane by the time they even had the Curse. So they were well aware of what's going on. They probably know the position of Wildfire. They know that they're probably at that bottom golem, and they are going to be quickly pushing into top lane. Wildfire is in full retreat. They smashed that B button. Are they going to be here in time, though? They just now started taking damage onto the keep. Here comes Wildfire. Pickles leading the charge, looking for Howling Blast. Pithix is trying to get out of there. A Void Sphere does catch Pithix. There is not a Howling Blast yet. Great cleanse from Suki once again. He's been quick on there, but this Ravenous Spirit is a full duration. There goes Miva with the Future Bile, and that's one of the strengths of Future Bile. We haven't really talked about it much, Sean, is it is so good at pretty much just like securing your getaway in a team fight. You cannot chase into it unless you have like Divine Shield or something along that lines, or some long range initiation, because it's so hard to fight into and it's so hard to chase anyone down when you got to run through that Future Vial. But they got to be careful here now, because they reinitiated onto this top keep. They are going to take this top keep down. But there is a wonderful Emerald win from Iacona. He does have the multiple Emerald win, so there's 3 of them going out. There's the hat trick. Pithix getting taken down using the first aid and evasion to try to keep himself up. A beautiful Divine Hurricane. Actually, no, it only hit Wargreymon. I'm sorry. So Wargreymon is going to get taken down, though. No more Odin Pickles. He's going to get taken down. He does have Resurgence, so he'll be back in just a moment here. Stitch is getting taken down. Stitch does not have Resurgence. He's down for upwards of 60 seconds. Right now, a 1-for-1 exchange, and they are chasing. Wildfire is chasing. Poom is going a little bit too ham, though. Good lord. Suki needs to heal himself. He's not able to heal himself. He's going to go down. Sergeant Hammer going to get taken down. Rip in Pepperoni. And right now, that's a 3 for, I guess, 2.5 exchange if you include Resurgence for both teams.
Yeah, if we want to call it half, it was the Arthas with that Resurgence. But the mission was accomplished. Team Hero Hype, they did get the keep, and now they got 2 lanes of catapults crushing out. And, you know, during that curse, you might say, oh, that's a pretty good curse, but they also paid for it with bottom keep, because that boss did a good number. These late game bosses are nothing to really take lightly. And so you might say 2.5 to 3 for the exchange, but they got the keep. They also lost the keep. So even during their curse, ESV Wildfire, they said, yeah, we can deal with the curse. We can do this team fight. We're level 20. We can do this. And they traded out virtually even when they were cursed. That's a big testament to the team and their knowledge about what to take when and for their time.
Yep, and the golems, as you mentioned, in these late game situations are almost, a lot of the time teams use them as a win condition. Like, okay, let's get a golem and push the core. Because the golems just get so strong, especially in these situations where multiple keeps are down. Both teams have their keep up mid lane, but both of the north and the south lanes have those catapults pushing in. So if you can get a golem with maybe a couple catapults pushing a core, you can just simply zerg down the core, even with the most recent buffs, and just simply kill it down with the golem. That's one thing teams really look for, but at the same time, teams know that's a situation, so they're definitely, neither team wants that to happen to him as well. And once again, Miwa using apparently map hacking. He's so good. Landed the hook on to Pickles, not the best target though. Suki had a good Divine Hurricane, but there really wasn't much follow-up. He is in full retreat mode. Wargreymon in the Odin, dropping down the nuclear bombs. That Odin gets taken out though. Boom, very low. He's got to be real careful. Bims taking out Stitches with that Ravenous Spirit. It does so much damage, even without that level 20 talent. It does an absurd amount of damage, but Stitches had Resurgence. He is back up and ready to fight.
Now, Bims got basically the entire duration there from the Ravenous, and, they brought down Poom low, but you might ask yourself, what was Illidan doing during all that? Iacona, with the Critter Eyes, with the Rewind, and the Critter Eyes, nearly soloed out the Illidan just by her own right-wing self, and it kept Bims very safe. There's no hunt being used. He got off the full duration. They got the kill. Sure, there's a Resurgence up, but still, a kill's a kill. It's experience in your pocket, and right now, both teams, even at level 23, again, this is a very close match, and usually in a first round scenario, any tournament, you're going to be having, some really wild games, but I'm actually really entertained and very impressed with both teams as they have kept fairly consistent throughout this entire series.
Yep, and it looks like Heroes Hype is just, they want to get this mid keep, and Wildfire knows what's going on. That mid keep for Wildfire is down to about 2/3 HP. There's that long range bomb attack we see from Hawkfu that you talked about earlier, Sean. Looks like they're just going to let Hawkfu take it down. He does so much damage. Look at the keep just melt. That is ridiculous. That keep is going to go down, and now Wildfire has all their keeps down. The only lone building left standing in their hold besides the core is that one little tower. It looks like they're going to be taking that down possibly as well.
I think we're waiting for the Void Prison to come up. We still got efforts of 15 seconds, now down to 5, 4, 3. So if you don't have those ults, a lot of those ults also just came up during that push. So it's really risky when you don't have your cooldowns ready to go to kind of go into a team that has them all up, because it doesn't matter if they come up when you're dead. The point is that you're now actually dead. Humans are going to get a little bit of damage here on top of Miwa in that push. Of Divine Hurricane doesn't actually hit anyone from Suki there in the back. There goes Miwa. A lot of blinks now coming out. Bims with that blink to safety gets off that entire Ravenous. Here's the Void Prison. Great setup here for that Ravenous as well, forcing out blinks from plenty. Kazas is going to be out of that, and so here will Illidan and Sergeant Hammer. That means that this is going to be a curse for ESV Wildfire, and if they can actually get work done with it, I mean, there's, again, dead even here with these keeps. They can either go for the keep, or they can go for the win, or they can go for this boss. There's a lot of options available.
I mean, they're rotating bottom lane. Bibbs, though, he's going a little too ham. He needs to live. He is going to live. He's using Sprint to get away. Wargreymon does not have an own. He laid down that last nuclear bomb. Taz on the Demon Hunter going to get taken out, though. Pythix jumping into the back line. He needs to get out, though. Bims is still really low. Oh, man. Pythix could have, if he got his eyes on Bims, he potentially could have killed him there. And it looks like Wildfire's going, screw this noise. They are going for the core 27 minutes into the game. The core is not as strong as it scales into the early game, and they are taking it down quickly. Hawkfu trying to do what he can, but he needs to be careful not to get taken out. He doesn't have Resurgence. He's going to be going down, and I think this possibly could be the game here, Sean. Yeah, with Illidan going down there, looks like Wildfire is going to be taking this match. Very well played by them.
Game down to the one team fight at the 26th minute mark, Mr. Shane Gucci. Absolutely intense game from both sides, and congratulations. It will go the way of Wildfire. They will advance here in the tournament, as we're going to go into the round of 16 next. Congratulations to them. But again, Heroes Hype. I was really impressed. They had a fantastic early game. They rebuffed. They kept a good level lead, and then things kind of just evened up, but they never fell behind. Came down to the last team fight. Miwa down. They couldn't get to the Bims. The blink, again, might not be out of the hunt, but it just might be out of range of everybody else. And worked out fantastically. And again, Witch Doctor coming huge into the NA meta. Good game, well played from both sides.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention, that last team fight that pretty much won Wildfire that game that we just spoke of, is Pythix used the hunt on Bims before he used Ravenous Spirit. Ravenous Spirit was still up after Pythix used the hunt. Pythix didn't wait to use it. I think maybe he was out of position. He was just trying to get to the team fight. Not sure what his thought process was there, but he used the hunt onto Bims. Bims was able to use sprint, pop away into the bushes right where those siege ogres are, kind of east of the siege ogres, and he still had his Ravenous Spirit and goes, okay, you have no more hunt. I'm free to go, pop the Ravenous Spirit, and as we saw in that team fight, it just tore everyone up, and that really is what secured them that team fight, as well as some other smart plays by Poom as well. So very well-deserved, well-played win by Wildfire. But one not to take away, as you said, from Heroes Hype, they definitely played a lot better than I thought, and they look like they might be a team who might be showing us a lot of good games in the future.
Well, we can hope. So, guys, go for America's ESL. The Go4Heroes series for Americas, because yeah, why not? America's. There we go. It will continue as we're going to find our next match, probably in the round of 16. There's a lot of streams going on, so go and support them.
Yes.
Watch your heart out. So many hero streams going on today. So when we return, it will be our next match. So guys, don't go anywhere, because Mr. Shane and I, we're definitely not going anywhere.
A terrible fate